Hi everyone, and welcome to the Black Collective podcast. So before we get into the sort of podcast and introducing the guests today, I wanted to explain a little bit about why I chose to do this episode. So I've been working in social research and public policy for around 12 years, and for most of the time, I've never worked with or alongside or shared office space or even had engagement with people on the client side that were Black men in any research or evaluation role. So there were some people who worked in admin or HR or finance roles, but never in the sort of real brains part of the organisation. And my own encounters with Black men really were as research subjects, so people I was interviewing about their experience of X, Y, Z, often in very vulnerable situations. So the more I think about it, it felt strange and quite different to my life outside of work. Fast forward, it wasn't until I joined Ipsos that things sort of changed, and there were more Black faces within the organisation. And this has grown during the time that I've been here. So being in the position that I am now, I'm the co-chair of the Reach Network and associate director in public affairs. I wanted to use this opportunity and this platform to connect with Black male colleagues, young Black male colleagues, and hold a mini career hack to highlight the talent that we have at Ipsos and understand why people joined Ipsos and their experience of social market research so far. So I'm going to go around and introduce each guest. To my right, I have Mfon.
Hello.
What's your role?
Research assistant in the market strategy and understanding division.
Then we have Johnny.
Hi, also research assistant in innovation.
And then Dejon.
Yeah, I'm a research executive in the trade, innovation and enterprise team for public affairs.
So what I'm going to do is if we can each go around and just say, well, how you ended up at Ipsos, how long you've been here, and what you've been doing.
I've been at Ipsos since June. So it's
June
almost
2022.
Yeah, June 2022. So it's almost coming up to a year now. I'm a placement student. So I'm currently at the University of Bath. How I ended up here was that I was looking for placement opportunities because was what was in my course. And one of my friends, he did a 6-month market research placement prior to me doing my placement year, and he told me how good market research was. So I was interested in that, and I decided to apply for market research and consulting positions, and here we are.
Did you apply for any other organisations?
I applied for other organisations that weren't market research. I applied for other consulting positions. So I applied for companies like Acumen. These were a lot more smaller and boutique companies that not a lot of people would have potentially have heard of.
And then me, myself as well, uni student at Bournemouth, and I was looking for a placement as well. And I didn't even expect to get this job as a placement because I applied through 10,000 Black interns, and it's normally meant to be like a 6-week internship, but then they heard I was also looking for a placement, so they decided to give me the placement as well. So it was good that I just got out of the way as well, and now I'm here.
And what made you guys pick to do a placement year specifically? Because I remember when I was at uni a long time ago, the opportunity came around, but I was just like, well, I just want to kind of get studies out of the way. And then I leave uni and I'm like, oh, it would have been a great thing to do because you leave uni with that work experience and that experience of doing a year in industry already.
For me, it was just, I realised how tough the job market is nowadays. I see a lot of older people talk about how they were able to walk in to any roles that they wanted, which sadly isn't the case anymore. So I thought I wanted to just prepare myself and give myself the best footing for the real world after I finished university. So I thought, why not get a year in industry? Plus, I wanted to have a good idea of the things that I potentially wanted to do. Like, I find it quite weird that people sometimes don't want to take the opportunity to go out and figure out certain industries that they want to go in and just want to do that straight after uni. Because me, if I then went into a workplace and didn't enjoy what I did, it would just be annoying then having to leave that and find a whole nother role when I could have done a placement year, realize I didn't like it, and then go and learn from that and move forward so that when I finish uni, I have more of a direct idea of exactly what I want to do.
And I'd say, well, I thought it would be a good decision to take a placement because obviously you get the experience as well. You sort of know what the like work lifestyle is sort of like. It's also put me in like a good routine as well throughout the year, and like it's sort of like I enjoy it and things like that. It's different from uni, as you all know. But yeah, also like what Mfon said, you sort of understand whether this is the sort of direction you want to go in, and then obviously this year without working through it, you can sort of see, okay, maybe I want to go into something else, or you know, this is maybe what you want to do. So I've enjoyed it and it's been good. I definitely don't regret taking a placement year as well. Yeah.
Great. And John, you're not a placement student.
I'm not a placement student, but yeah, that's good to hear that like there's so many opportunities during university. I wish I took those opportunities. But yeah, so I finished university in 2018, so I feel like kind of old as well. But yeah, as I finished, I done international relations for my undergrad, and then I went on to study a master's at UCL. I've actually done social research and social policy, so it's kind of directly related to the job I'm doing now. And then I've been at Ipsos since March 2022, so it's basically a year and 2 months or something like that. So I've been here like I think that's a long time, I don't know. But yeah, so just working in the trade and innovation team, so like working on like large scale projects for like multi-government sort of organized like departments, so like HMRC, DWP, Department of International Trade. And yeah, so that's how I got into Ipsos.
And what were your initial impressions when you started, like your first day, your first week, coming to this building, meeting your team?
I think for me, just like the whole like scale of Ipsos is like massive compared to places I used to work. Like when I've got my first job out of university, it was like a small like research organization like based in Brighton. There's only like maybe like 40 people in the actual that actually work there. And compared to like Ipsos, just on our floor alone, it's like way more than that sort of thing. So it's like a big organization, sort of like big name, and it's quite well known. So like it's very, very different to places I used to work. What about you guys?
Well, I remember my first day, for example, came in like shirt, like proper like suit, jumper, suit trousers and stuff. My manager instantly was like, you don't have to wear that sort of thing. And like it sort of shows how like relaxed the environment is here. Whilst you're still obviously working hard and things like that, but like instantly sort of getting that relaxed environment sort of feeling makes you fit in quicker and like feel part of the company much quicker than maybe other workplaces. So I like that about this place, yeah.
Yeah, for me it was similar to the fact that Ipsos is massive. So people on my team who I work with are also abroad and overseas. So it was quite interesting getting that exposure to realizing how big some of the people, some of the clients that you work with are, and the amount of people that are there. Like going to some of the socials and realizing that there's just so many people you don't know, and even your team members also like we don't know half the people even on the floor, which is quite interesting. But I felt quite at home because I also saw a lot of diverse people. This is probably the most diverse place I've ever worked at. So it was quite nice seeing a whole host of different cultures, personalities and people. So I knew that I could fit right in.
I feel like everyone just is quite smart for like their first.
Yeah, definitely. You've got to put a good impression. Yeah.
And then I remember one of my colleagues was asking about, would you ever wear like a tracksuit to work? I was like, okay, let's put it to the test. Let's ask our business lead. And she said, well, yeah, you can wear whatever. If it's going to make you more comfortable, sat at your desk, able to focus more, then that's fine. So I don't think I've come into work in a full coordinated tracksuit yet, but I've worn tracksuit bottoms.
No, I haven't got to that stage yet.
Neither. I don't think I will.
No, I say.
But then I also wear trousers and shirt regularly as well.
I like dressing up every now and then because it's just good to, make sure you still got it.
Yeah.
So what are the type of things that you like about your work in terms of the projects and the things that you've worked on since you've been here, and particularly for you two, because your time as placement students is probably coming up. What would be like the big takeaways from your Ipsos career so far?
Well, I'd say like the stature of brands that you're like sort of working with, because I remember my first 2-3 months, I already had like a project with Coke, like Fanta, Sprite, and I just never would have thought I'd be working with these sort of brands at this age, in this stage of my life and things like that. But it's pretty cool seeing like an insight to what the future holds for them, and like knowing that you've played a part in them potentially releasing like a new product that you've worked on. It's a nice feeling and things like that. And then also how the work is like flexible to like fit your own time, like maybe outside of work and things like that. For example, working from home, because obviously me, I play quite a bit of football, so I have to work around that, like coming into the office, when I have games midweek sometimes. I can work from home more and then obviously make it up in like upcoming weeks and things like that. So I like how flexible and like just the sort of work you've got given is quite big and all that. So yeah, it's good.
Yeah, I'll say a similar thing where it's really interesting where you work with big clients and my friends and me interact and potentially even use some of the products that you're helping the clients out with. And so it's pretty cool seeing it in the market. And I would also say that it's been really fun just expanding my knowledge, getting more understanding of some of the different ways of working, different work streams, understanding a lot more about data and actually interpreting it and going above and beyond just the normal analysis, because that's just something I've been interested in, just trying to understand people and consumers and things like that. And so being able to work on big client projects was just something that piqued my interest.
And Dejon, obviously, in public affairs, we don't
do that.
we don't service big global clients in the same way.
But who we do service is like big, obviously, government departments. So like, I think for me personally, the good thing about this job so far is like the exposure. Like a few times I've gone to like sort of like Whitehall, that's a government department, and presented there. So like recently I presented for HMRC in their office and stuff, and that's been quite fun to do. So like just getting out of the office, going to other places and like seeing how our research actually like makes an impact with stakeholders and things like that. So it's like very varied, getting to do different things. Also like the many different projects you work on can be like drastically different to each other. So like it's not doing the same thing constantly.
And I know that each one of you have different passions outside of work. So Johnny, you've mentioned football.
Yeah.
Tell us a bit about that.
So at the moment playing semi-professionally, so that's sort of like what I've been wanting to do like since I was young, and it's also good that I can also mix that with work and stuff as well. But yeah, I've just been playing football, and the company, to be fair, supported me quite a bit, and they're always like interested in how I'm doing throughout the year. So it's nice to know that even like your colleagues and stuff are like behind your back whilst you're doing your hobbies outside of work. So yeah.
And where do you play? Who do you play for? What position?
Well, I've played for 3 teams this season. I started off at Binfield, which is step 4, so that's 3 leagues off professional. Then I moved to Hartley Whitney, which was the league above, so 2 leagues off, and then ended the season at Westfield, more local to me. So it's been a good season for me as well personally. And yeah, next season, obviously I'm going back to university, so I'm going to have to find a team near there. So yeah.
Did Bournemouth have a good football team?
Yeah. What, like the uni?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I'll probably join the uni team next year, and then we'll be playing like unis like Mfon's Bath. We'll play against them, Bristol, Plymouth. So it'll be pretty good. Yeah.
You're not gonna be playing football.
Nah, I wish I was a baller. I really do. But for me, I'm passionate about a lot of things. I'm passionate about music. I don't make music as much as I used to. In fact, I barely make music anymore. But I'm garnering an interest for just presenting and things like that. So it'll be cool to take that further. Yeah.
So you should be hosting.
I should be hosting. Maybe you'll see me you hear my name on other Spotify podcasts, you know.
And we had to rearrange this
Yeah.
podcast.
Yeah,
Dejon got an injury doing his own
a minor injury. It wasn't that, but yeah, my main hobbies I'd say are like running. So like I do run a lot, trying to get into it more as well. Do like 5Ks, 10Ks, like longer distances as well. And
in what sort of time?
It's all right. It's all right. It's like it's good, better than average.
What pace are you aiming for?
Like I'm trying to get a sub so my next aim is trying to get a sub like 19 5K. I'm trying to get like also a sub 40 10K as well. But it's going well. So I'm like trying to train for that, and then also cycling as well. But to be honest, I cycle less than I should because I just at times it can be quite a bit of just effort just to get on your bike, to be honest. But yeah.
Yeah.
So is it running, cycling? What about swimming?
No, I can't.
I
swim. You can't swim?
I can't. Embarrass to say I can't swim.
No way. Oh man.
Can you swim?
Yeah, of course.
Ah, okay.
You got to break the stereotype.
Literally.
So we've discussed what you like about Ipsos and probably like working life more generally. What are the things that you don't like?
I'll let you go first.
The controversial question. What I don't like about Ipsos, because I've only been here for nearly a year, there's not much that I don't really like. I feel like everyone that I immediately work with is really encouraging and supportive. I enjoy the team I'm in. I think I'm very lucky at the team I'm in because it's nice and it's quite sociable as well. And they do a lot outside of just working hours to supplement everyone's social life. But
what about that time that you were copying those rows of figures and putting them into another part of the Excel?
Oh, bait it out.
No, I'm just saying, are you sure like it's all
okay? It's not all glitz and glamour, but I just feel like it's just part of the process. But yeah, I will say there are times when there's a lot of data you're managing and handling. And I guess in the division I'm in, it's a lot more fast paced than other divisions. Sometimes, I'm looking at some of the other grads in other divisions and I'm thinking I'm working harder than you for sure. But, I quite like it because I like the industry specific for what I do. So I quite enjoy it. But yeah, sometimes it's quite dynamic and quite a lot. But yeah.
For me, I'd say maybe sometimes when you get project work, it can get repetitive, like you're doing the same thing. Whereas like sometimes you want a bit of, diversity in what sort of work you're doing. But obviously it's not always their fault because certain points of the year, there might not be that much projects going and it might just be that same one. So I can't complain. But if I was to be picky, that would probably be something that I would change, like just having a variety of different sorts of projects. But other than that, obviously like Mfon said, we haven't really been here for that long, just coming up to a year now. There's not really been too much that to complain about working in this company. Yeah.
For me, like you mentioned the whole like data Excel thing, but for me, like there's fast, like finding more efficient ways to, I think those tasks are like sort of necessary. You have to do them. And it's not the most fun task, but you have to like find sort of like creative ways or like more efficient ways to do things that can turn it to like a learning experience for yourself, 100%. Sort of thing. But like maybe like instead of using Excel, you could like try to like learn SPSS, for instance, or like things like that. Try and make it like a learning development sort of task rather than sort of boring, sort of tedious thing to do. That makes sense.
Yeah, I feel like because we do lots of different tasks, and some they're good for different things. So like data checking, like whether you're checking like tables, script checking, those type of things. Like they're good to just. That's a good time to put on a podcast or listen to some music, and then you can just get through it. It's like a good like Friday, I don't know, a Friday afternoon task to do. Where I don't like, it's the repetition thing, but it can be like different. So like, they've got a project with lots of interviews. by the time you've done like 20 or 30, the stories begin to be like the same. So
Yeah.
it's like no one's saying anything that's sort of like that interesting anymore. And yeah, I don't particularly enjoy that as much. But before you know it, you've moved on to another project, and so
Yeah.
you've got something else to like take your interest and get rid
Yeah,
of.
I think that's the thing. You won't enjoy all of your projects as much as you say you do. Like you won't, but because obviously we're doing different projects, working with different clients, there'll always be something that you do enjoy. So like you can sort of get through the ones you don't enjoy by you sort of like looking forward to ones you do enjoy, sort of thing.
Yeah.
I guess for me, something I would also add is because I work on a tracker, so I work on a long-standing project. So I work for the same client. So I guess something for me, I would also say would be very interesting to work on different projects and with different types of clients and industries. That would be quite interesting.
Do you want to explain for the
people who don't know?
Yeah, what a tracker is.
Like I work on a few tracker surveys, so it's like following the same respondents over time. Like maybe they change sometimes, that sort of thing. So like with the tracker surveys, just like following the same sort of individuals over time, like businesses, for instance. I find it quite it's more easier because you have like previous years, like projects, like folders you can refer to, and it's easier to set up because you sort of know what you're doing because you just base like what you're gonna do this year, for instance, and like previous years.
The process is already
it's already set in place.
Already.
Yeah, that's the thing I would say. It's a lot more set up and there because when I joined, the tracker had been going on for a lot of years prior, so everything was there, so I didn't have to necessarily go through a lot of the whole project life cycle. And because of there's a lot of people and the client's so big, I work within a specific section of a project, so I didn't necessarily even get exposure to certain other parts. But yeah, a tracker's for me is quite interesting because you also have just loads of different divisions within the tracker. So there'll be like project management, research and development, and then you have researchers. You have a whole host of different people that are trying to make it so efficient so that there's a quick turnaround of the data and you're getting the insights you need and you're just getting it out and you're doing that.
And then lastly, what are your hopes for the future? I'm going to start with Dejon first because you guys are in your placement year, so it's a bit different. But I suppose what are your hopes for the future? Do you see a long career in social research?
I think for me, like just I do see a career in social research going forward. I think I want to get more involved in like project management, so like directly like liaising with like clients and sort of being taking more responsibility for like even sort of like line managing in the future as well, helping like other researchers develop as well, sort of like doing that in the future going forward.
For me, future wise, I've enjoyed this placement, so I'd be interested in going back into market research after, but because I've also got other friends at uni who are also on placement, they're doing things in other sort of departments in the business world. So like it sort of got me intrigued that what if I join that sort of department, what would it be like? Would I enjoy it more, sort of thing? So I don't know, like, I'll still keep my options open, but obviously I know what market research is like, so I wouldn't be complaining if I went straight back into it after uni, I'd say. Yeah.
For me, I'm of two minds. As you get older, you get to the decision where do you want to chase your dreams, other passions you want to pursue, or do you want to go with the most viable and the easiest options? So I could potentially go into market research, go into consulting. I find business consulting quite interesting because you're consulting businesses on their problems and operations, and I think it's something that's very useful, especially because I think in the future I would love to have a potential business of my own. However, on the other hand, if there was an opportunity to pursue passions, I would love to just go into presenting and, you'd see me on your TV, big all smiley, and that would be lovely. I could do a little sport, a little bit of be just a media personality. I'll just be everywhere. You see me on Strictly one day, You see me doing a YouTube thing the next. You never know.
You're going to do Strictly first.
Oh no, Strictly is when I'm
dancing?
cemented.
Yeah, can you dance?
No, I'm just saying like presenting.
Oh,
Obviously presenting Strictly.
I think you should go on Strictly first.
Yeah,
Do your
I
dance
definitely
first,
have the moves for it.
maybe win, and then come back. That's how Alicia Dixon did.
Yeah,
she smashed it, and then she came back as a judge.
Yeah, if someone ever wants to, bring X Factor back, I'm ready. But but yeah, it'll be interesting. Just do a whole host of different things.
To be fair, I agree with him as well, because like for football as well, if there's an opportunity there, then I'd take that in a heartbeat as well. But obviously you gotta think like sometimes like realistically and things like that. Say if it doesn't happen, you need to know what else you want to do, sort of thing. So
how long do you think you see yourself here at Ipsos?
I don't know. I think if I do change, I'd want to like change like life drastically. So like, move country, work somewhere far away from computers and Word documents and Excel and MS Teams.
I hear that.
I was thinking about tree surgery the other day, like cutting down a tree. But something that's like, or something that helps people a bit more directly. Because I like my job because we kind of help people from a distance. So government want to implement a policy or a new brand or something, and you sort of help them work out the best way to deliver that or provide that service or brand. But the timescales are very long and you feel quite distant and removed. I want to do something that is more directly connected. I haven't decided yet. I haven't really been thinking about it. I know that I want to live in another country at some point. So I think I might pursue that and then see what opportunities arise from that. It might be working at Ipsos in another country, who knows? Or it might be doing something completely different.
I've got a question actually. Obviously, I'm 21, he's 20. What advice do you give to us after we finish uni, going into like the working lifestyle?
I'm 34, so I just we're putting our ages. So I've been here a while.
Some granddad.
That's a vibe.
You guys are in a better situation now at 20 and 21 than I was at 20 and 21. You've had a taste of the job market. You seem to have level-headed, head screwed on, have like your passions that you're interested in and quite dedicated to, as well as getting valuable work experience and stuff. So I think just make sure that you're thinking about a plan in the future. You work somewhere or do something that you see real value in and where you feel valued. And work hard.
Yeah, I think with each generation, I feel like they get a lot more screwed on in terms of corporate world quicker, because one thing I always keep on hearing is people say, oh, this generation, they've had like 5 internships, they'll have a placement and then they'll go to work. Whereas like back in my day, I didn't have to do anything, this and the third. But even through all of the experience, it's still a lot of people who are still lost and confused. So
I was lucky. So I did an internship, but I only did one and it was paid. And then so it was a political think tank. I thought at the time I wanted to go into politics, and then I worked there. Like I liked it, but I felt like it made me compromise like my values a little bit too much. Around like strange things. So like I worked on like a climate project, and they were like, oh, we're energy neutral. Where I was sort of like, well, I think carbon emissions are bad. I'm not really too keen on nuclear. I've sort of softened now, but that's sort of what I thought at the time. But the impression that I made there, they really helped me to then try and get me a job somewhere else after just because of the relationships that I made with people there. And then that kind of, I didn't really intend to end up. So my degrees, my undergrad and masters were in social and public policy. Didn't really intend to end up working here, but here we are. I'm working in the industry that I studied at, but I didn't have to do 5 unpaid.
Well, I feel like this generation as well, there's a lot more like resources for all of us to use before actually doing like either completing uni or doing apprenticeship. So like it sort of helps us get to that next stage in life, sort of, well, maybe not always quicker, but sort of like you're set on what you want to do from like an early point in life. Because half my mates just went straight into work and like now they're already doing well, like working in bank and stuff like that. Half of them gone to uni and they will go on to doing the same things and stuff like that, or going beyond that. So I feel like our age now, there's been a lot for us to sort of work with to get us to where we are now, sort of thing.
I was going to ask you, the 10,000 black interns.
Yeah.
How did you find that experience?
So my auntie sent it to my mum and said that she thinks that it would help me out quite a bit, because at the time as well, I was struggling to find a placement as well, because like I applied to like SAP, Samsung, but didn't get to any of them. And then I just thought, okay, I'll sort of give it a go, put in my CV and everything. And then they sort of just gave you a set of business you didn't get to choose. And then I saw Ipsos, and I think my mum has heard of Ipsos before, and she said that would be a good one to sort of work with. So I carried on the processes, did all the interviews and everything, and I sort of felt comfortable as well with how it was. It seemed like a good place to work, and then yeah, it worked out in the end. But yeah, I definitely recommend people who are even looking for just internships or placements to use 10,000 black interns, because obviously it's for companies that are looking to be more diverse, which is like why we're here today, for example. So yeah, it definitely helps out.
And they provide you with support and like preparation for the workplace, right? It's not just like they're not just the middleman.
No, they're not. And like throughout this year as well, because you like make your own account on the website, throughout the year they're always emailing you, sort of checking how you're doing. You can write messages to people on it. So it's not like once you just get that internship or placement, they leave you for the rest of the year. They're sort of always staying in contact, which is a good thing, yeah.
And Dejon, did you do any like internships or anything? How did you fall into, because you mentioned that you worked for a company in Brighton.
That was a smaller research organization. To be honest, after uni, I was just, after my undergrad, so I'd done international relations, I was just like applying for sort of any sort of like graduate research job, like not really caring about the sort of industry sort of thing. And then eventually I was just working like odd jobs for like a year, just to like, cause I didn't really know what I want to do sort of thing. And then I can't remember exactly how I stumbled across like social research. So I just applied to like do a master's in social research and like social research methods at UCL. And then I just knew I wanted to get into like market research somehow. And then obviously I knew about Ipsos, and then sort of like the dots connected. So like apply for like Ipsos. Then I started in this role like a year ago. So yeah, but before that I was working somewhere else in market research as well. So like I sort of had that knowledge of how it would be, but it's like continued that path basically.
You worked at the other company before doing the masters?
No, after, sorry. Okay. So yeah, after, yes, I've sort of like tried to like apply for like every sort of like research intern sort of job. And at first I was a research intern there after the masters. And then that just sort of converted to like a permanent position. And because it was quite small and based in Brighton, I sort of wanted to come to like a bigger sort of organization. I'd sort of like more like, I don't know, impact, for instance. So like that's how I sort of came across Ipsos, and then I applied for Ipsos.
Final question, and this is just a bit of a fun one because it's something that I struggle with. When your friends ask you what you do, or family, or anyone, how do you describe it?
Ooh.
It's so hard. My mum still doesn't understand. Like, I don't really know, to be honest. That's a good question.
With me, I describe this company as like a market research company that like sort of helps other companies get results on, like, say if they want to release new products and things like that, we sort of supply them the results, and it sort of helps them make a decision on whether to release the product or make a change on it, or if they don't need to.
Yeah, I kind of say that I do consumer insights, helping brands in understanding the market and the dynamic environment in which their business is in.
Okay. I think you've got it easier.
Yeah, I think for us, probably for us, because like we work in the public affairs team, people just assume like Ipsos is like market research and it's like marketing, but it's like obviously we have a social research side, which is like very different to like market research in a way. That's sort of similar.
Yeah.
So it's like hard to kind of
Yeah, it'll be
explain.
harder for you guys.
I have to explain, like, so I work for the government, but it doesn't sound as important as that sounds. What I do is not as important.
Yeah.
And so they're like, see, but it's a private company and
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. And then like basically when they make a policy or they make a change, they have to do lots of engagement and research to understand how they do it, and then people normally switch off.
Yeah.
Thank you everyone for listening. This has been another episode from the Black Collective podcast. Stay tuned for more. Our next episode will be on intersectionality. As it's June, I'd also like to take the opportunity to commemorate the 75th anniversary of Windrush. Please look out for a blog entry with more detail on Windrush and the Windrush generation to come later in the month.